He does. Good evening and welcome to the SRT Trackmasters Academy GT1 Championship, round number 3 here on Easter Monday at RaceKraft Simulations. My name's Chris Mitchell and I'm your host for this evening. Welcome along as we run down the final 13 minutes of qualifying from Kylami, the 1961 to 1987 variant of the famous South African track though. 4.1 kilometres and a very, very high speed and long undulating straight. It's a lot of fun to drive. Not a whole bunch of passing opportunities available at this track though, which is going to make things rather interesting for our 20-car field lining up tonight at RaceKraft. We're not just at RaceKraft Simulations with about 9 or 10 units being occupied in the house. We've got a few entries from V-Race over on Scarborough Beach Road in Osborne Park and a fair few drivers joining in from home tonight to have some fun in GT1 cars. The talk of the town tonight has been so far how bloody fast the Porsche is compared to everything else. It's rather frustrating for a few guys in-house trying to drive anything other than the Porsche, the Mercedes or the McLaren variant of the GT1 cars. I mean, let's check it out. Alex Arni's your fastest qualifier at the moment with a 109.6. Alex Newton second. He's somehow levitating off the ground a little bit. He's running the Porsche as well. Cameron Edwards in the Porsche, no surprise. Cade Bell in the Porsche. Ray Mangano in Porsche. Jordan Diablo in Porsche. Dexy in a Porsche. Mr. Lamont running the Porsche. Riley is in the Porsche. There's another Porsche in pit lane. Anthony Jewell is the first of the cars other than a Porsche at the moment, and he is 11th. 2.1 seconds off the pace with a 1 minute 11.7. Now, I thought I was fast when I went out and did a 110.4 within 5 laps of driving the circuit earlier in open practice, but that was with a Porsche. And currently that would put me about 6th or 7th here, just behind Jordan Diable in time right now. We are 11 minutes to go, and a huge gaggle of cars making their way out of the right-handers before they make their run onto the long and widened main straight here. You can see it's quite narrow coming off the final corner at the Lukop bend before they make a run through the kink here, and then the track widens up on the main straight before they make their run down the hill towards Crowthorne Corner. Lots of guys exiting pit lane, trying to start a flying lap here. We're going to send you on board with Alex Newton for a ride inside the Porsche GT1 car around Kylami. 3.5 minutes left to go in qualifying here. Alexani is still the fastest on track. And we were talking a little bit a few moments ago about the Porsches being too fast. 25 k's an hour down the straight, too fast at Kylami. The likes of Jonas Sita has jumped ship over to the unused rig from Callum Lamont, who's jumped into the screens rig out the back of the unit because he was struggling with the VR. So Callum is going to be in the green Porsche, currently sitting 9th in time, but 1 lap of flying pace from Jonah bumped him 2.5 seconds faster on track. So that's what we're talking about in-house at the moment. There's a bit of chatter going on. 2 minutes and 45 left in the session. The top 11 cars are Porsches. In fact, top 12. And I'd say top 13 even. Where's Julesy been bumped to? Oh no, Julesy in 10th. Julesy in 10th. He's now changed to the Porsche though. So we're going to go. Who's the first guy who's not a Porsche driver? Big old Fitzy in 15th. Worth about 2 seconds a lap, a 112.1. You could estimate that if big old Fitzy put himself in the back of a Porsche, he would be running in the mid or low to mid 110s, which would almost put him inside the top 5 tonight. So I'm not here to stir the pot, although I do enjoy doing it. But the Porsche is going to be the wildest car to drive tonight. For GT1's Round 3, brought to you by SRT Trackmasters for the SRT Trackmasters Academy Championship Series. From RaceKraft Simulations, with 1 minute and 45 to go, Alexani holds the top time, a 109.558. So we're qualifying, wrapping up here and running down the final 30 seconds for drivers to try and set themselves a fast lap. Alexani on top with a 109.558. Alex Newton will go second with a 109.764. Anthony Jewell, after switching to a Porsche, goes third with a 109.797. Cameron Edwards with a 109.866. Cade Bell will go P5 with a 109.9. This is going to be close in your top 5 here. Ray Mangano in P6 with a 110.1. Then we go back to Jonas Sita in the 7. Showing under Callum Lamont, though, because he jumped on Callum's unused rig, sitting there as Callum's jumped in the screens rig out the back. That's a wrap on qualifying here. John Diable will take P8. Dexy in P9. And the real Callum Lamont stepping up to P10 with a 111.057. Remaining order here. V-Race 4 in P11, Riley in P12 from Kenny Pryor in 13, V-Race 2 in P14. Josh Cochran with one flying lap at the end there after switching to the Porsche. Went 0.7 of a second faster, so he goes to P15. Big old Fitzy in the 16 spot from General Pesh in the 17. Smashing you, Bungie 69, Roadkill, and John rounding out your remaining 21 drivers. In qualifying, we're going to let our guys step out of the seat and take themselves a short break. We'll bring up our newly included holding screen fisheye camera. Looking out across RaceKraft simulations as the boys socialise and have a chat about the lap before we get underway with 30 minutes of racing in just a couple of minutes. Here we are in South Africa, circa 1987, with cars circa the early 90s era. For GT1 night, round number 3 for the SRT Track Masters Academy here at RaceKraft Simulations, and a 21-car field lining up and getting ready to launch it down the main straight towards Crowthorne Corner for the first time. A 30-minute sprint race, no holds barred, as everyone gets set and ready to go. Alexani will start on the pole spot here, alongside Alex Newton on the outside front row. Anthony Jewell will start from third. Cameron Edwards in P4. Cade Bell will start from P5 with Ray Mangano on 6. Jonah Sita sitting under the banner of Callum Lamont tonight after he changed over the rig. He starts out at P7. Jordan Diable will start from P8. Dexy from 9, and the real Callum Lamont will start out of the top 10. Everybody has readied up. That means we are set to go here from Kylami for your Easter Monday League Night Racing at RaceKraft Simulations. Alexani is in the seat getting pumped up as he's going to lead the field down to turn 1. Julesy got a shocker of a start. Alexani getting away clean and early, and a massive Porsches leads down the straight for the first time here in Kylami. Zani is going to lead the field down into turn 1. Anthony Jewell will go with him here into second. V-Race 1 and Jordan Diable. So Cameron Edwards fighting with Jordan for the third spot here as they're going to go side by side out of the left-hander. A Juxei sweeper into the Sunset Bend, and now up this short chute towards Clubhouse. This is a left-hander. You come over the hill at the end of this little short chute, and it's a completely blind corner entry into the S's. Blind in third or fourth gear. Tuck it into the curving and hang on to it towards Lukop Bend. Up the hill through the corner. The understeer is still quite pronounced through here. You've got to be careful with your throttle application. And Zani will lead the field through the kink for the first time here in Kylami. Ticking off that first check in the box that he needs. Anthony Jewell is going to try and chase him down. Jordan Diable back there in the third spot. Cameron Edwards in P4. Ray Mangano in 5. From Alex Newton, Cade Bell, Riley Prussian. And which Callum Lamont is it? It would be the real Callum Lamont. Jonah Cedar has lost out all the way down the order into P12. We'll pick up with Jordan Diable as he's trying to hold out from Cameron Edwards and Ray Mangano, putting pressure on him. For 4th and 5th, there is 2 Porsches, the Gold Mobile 1 entries, chasing each other there through the right-hander at Sunset Bend. They're right on the back of Jordan here. Going to have a little peek up the inside, down to second gear. Use a little bit of the rumble strip if you have to. Jordan keeping it nice and clean, checked up on the outside of the corner. Touch of the curb though is going to unsettle the car, and it's going to slow his mid-corner speed. It's quite something that the 2 behind didn't really catch him through that stage. There's Alex Newton further behind in P6, starting to climb into the back of this battle. He lost out at the start, had an absolute shocker, and went way down the order. Cade Bell a little bit further behind here, Riley Prussian in the 8. The 2 Callum Lamont entries together now. This will be a fun one to call. As it looks like Jonah has gotten through into the 9th spot. Callum is fighting off from Kenny Pryor, putting some pressure on him as they head in towards Crowthorne Corner. But Jonah jumping up into P9 after dropping down earlier in the race. He's lost a huge amount of time off the guys around him though. Riley Prussian a little bit further up the road. He is 3 seconds up the road here from Jonah and Callum, with Kenny behind him as Riley puts some pressure on the back of Cade Bell at the moment as they come through the left-hander at Clubhouse Bend. Out front, Zani and Jewell gonna dip out here. 4.5 seconds the gap they held over Jordan Diable at the last check of the time clocks, and Alec is trying to hold on to a 1 second advantage over Julesy. Julesy feeling rather proud of himself that he decided to switch to the Porsche tonight. There's no denying the advantage that the Porsche has here, not only at Kylami, but in general, since the most recent updates in the Automobilista 2 platform, the sim racing title which we use in-house here at RaceKraft Simulations. Since the most recent updates, the Porsche has become the clear favourite in the field. And a very formidable car to go racing with in GT1s. 25.5 minutes left to go from Kylami here. Zani and Jewel trying to break away from the field here. The gap's further behind though. Cameron Edwards and Jordan Diablo. Now Cameron finds himself up to the 3rd spot. Puts Jordan down to P4. Alex Newton right there in P5. Ray Mangano has dropped off to the 6. Cade Bell in 7. These guys are spread out pretty tightly as well. Not a huge amount of time between them, as you can see Cameron being harassed by Jordan from Alex, Ray, and then Cade. Oh, Cade through the grass. And that is Cade done. Off the road, he's going to drop down the order. That'll put Jonah Sita a little bit up the order. The black and white car coming running through. Riley Prussian, of course, in the yellow and black Porsche. Now being chased by Jonah as they come down the main straight towards Crowthorne Corner. A little further up the road, though. A couple of battles being made through the first corner as Jordan tries to put the pressure on the back of Cameron Edwards. This is the fight for 3rd with Alex Newton, sim racer turned Hyundai XL Cup competitor here in Western Australia. Trying to put the squeeze on as well. Cameron Edwards knows how to get it done with a Hyundai XL car. And that's it. So does Anthony Jewell, currently running 2nd in the order. They will compete in the West Australian Hyundai XL Cup Championship up at Wanneroo Raceway. Having a great 3-car battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th on the road here. Zani and Jewell clearing out now. They are 5.5 seconds clear of the next car back, and Zani's put a 2.5 seconds on Anthony here with 24 minutes to go. From Kylami circuit here for the SRT Track Masters Academy GT1 Championship round number 3 from RaceKraft Simulations. We'll leave you with this battle for just a couple of moments. .21.5 minutes left to go, and I took all this break to take a drink and forgot to take a drink. The battle for 3rd still going on at the moment, but they're starting to spread themselves out. You see Jordan Diablo meeting the sandwich at the moment as Cameron Edwards has managed to open up a bit of a gap to 0.9 of a second. Alex Newton has fallen off the back of this battle, but Jonah Sita finding his way up into the battle here. Jonah having a great run up to 6 and putting pressure on the back of Alex. These young kids, they know how to get it done nice and fast. Jonah, I think he's ex-dirt carter, a sidecar rider, turned sim racer. Been involved in the speedway ranks quite a bit as well. Putting pressure on the back of Alex Newton, who started at the pointy end of the field. Now he's trying to really put the squeeze on him as they make their way onto the main straight. Zani and Julesy out front though. Alex Zani now with a 4-second lead over Anthony Jewell. No one gets it done like this guy. On an absolute mission out here tonight for GT1s as Alec brings it through the fast right-hander. Sunset Bend on his 10th lap of the circuit here with 20 minutes to go. In this race, Zani could cruise from here and still pick up the race win with 3.8 seconds the lead he has over Anthony Jewell in second. Cameron Edwards back there in third. That's 7 seconds, the gap from Jewell back to Edwards. Bit of an off there for one of our recovering drivers. We're down to 18 left in the order, is that correct? We did start with 21 in the order. We are left with 18 remaining drivers, so a couple disconnections and a couple guys have left the session. Zani on an absolute flyer out here, having a red hot dip in it. Further back, it's about 1.5 seconds between Cameron Edwards in third, Jordan Diable behind him in the fourth spot. Alex Newton is another second and a bit further behind in P5. Look at the straight line speed from the Porsches though. That is just taking the mickey right now. That is so fast down the main straight. It's a long straight here for the, or comparatively at least for this track. 4.1 kilometres of track. And I reckon the straight is about 1 kilometre and a bit long. You add in the run before the kink and then the actual main straight itself. The straight line speed advantage for the Porsche being around 20 plus kilometres per hour down the straight here at Kylami. It's crazy, but it's resulted in kind of a one-mate category. If you're not in the Porsche, you're not going to be very far up the order, and we can see that. The first of the Porsches would be big old Fitzy in the Mercedes. He's in the top half. So he is in the top half, but he's smack bang on the top half. John Lee further behind. He's the first of the McLarens. He's in P10. Having a crack at it here. Bungie 69 behind him in the Mercedes. Smashing you further behind in the Porsche into P12. Okay, Bill in the 14th right here. Kenny Pryor in P15. Josh Cochran a bit banged up and damaged in the 16th spot from Callum Lamont in P17, and Dexy rounding out your 18-car order with 17 and a half minutes to go for the SRT Trackmasters Academy GT1 Championship as we pick up with Alec trying to make his way through some lap traffic here at Kylami. He holds a 4-second advantage over Anthony Jewell. the halfway point here. Alexani on camera, just putting a lap on Johnny Lee. John just going a lap down to Alec. That's the difference there. John on camera, just going a lap down from your race leader, Alexani, who's got a 3-second advantage now. Anthony Jules managed to pull this back a little bit, and has kept his car pretty clean in the process. No damage on board for Anthony Jules so far, as we're about to cross the halfway mark. The SRT Trackmasters Academy GT1 Championship, round number 3 from RaceKraft Simulations. On beautiful Easter Monday night, before everyone has to miserably suck it up and go back to work tomorrow to continue the back to reality form that we're in. Julesy trying to go around the outside of John on the way through the kink. Now John going a lap down. And Julesy going flying past on an absolute mission. Trying to close the gap to Alexani. 3.1 seconds is where it sits this lap by as they start their 15th lap. We're going to be on for a 28-29 lap race here for half an hour around Kylami. Lap time sitting in the 1:10 at the moment. It might be a 28 lap race by the time we get to the end of it. Might lose a few in the process. With 14 minutes to go, Alexani being stalked by Anthony Jewell, trying to close this gap. Just over 3 seconds is the difference. The battle for 4th and 5th and 6th as well. Look at this. It's a Porsche GT1 one-make race with Jordan Diable, Alex Newton and Jonah Sita all getting involved in it. And Mercedes pulling to the left-hand side to go a lap down from these three as they fight it out for 4, 5 and 6 on the road. As they come into the final corner here as Lukop Bend. Put the power down on the main straightaway as they run towards the kink, where the track opens up and you have a really wide berth to try and sneak through and slip one up the inside here as Newton is shaping up in the toe of Diable, tucking right in there. He's parked his front grille on the exhaust pipes of the Porsche GT1 of Jordan Diable. Didn't pull out for a pass into turn 1 though, but Diable has run himself wide. Newton has an opportunity here as they head into the right-hander. Jonah is sitting there watching and trying to pick his moment as well as they go into the left-hander. Jonah cuts across and will pick up the next spot as well. So Alex Newton into 4th. Jonah Sita round to P5 here. Jordan Diable losing out and going down to the 6th spot as a result. As they come in at left-hander, Jonah going for another one. Jonah goes for the move on the inside of Alex Newton at Clubhouse Bend and gets it done. Jonah now up to 4th. How's that for a recovery? He was outside the top 10 in the opening laps of the race after having a bit of a shocker. Oh, 2 of them into the wall there. Saw Newton get caught up on the wall. Jordan Diable caught it as well. Now Jordan's going to spin himself. Oh no, heartbreak for Jordan. As he spins himself around the final corner and will drop down the spots as they keep flying on by. Jonah Sita though, up into the 4th spot. As we just catch shots of John Lee going down a spot, or down a lap from Cameron Edwards in 3rd. That is the 3rd place car. It's 3 seconds a gap now from Edwards to Sita and Newton. Can they close the gap with 11 minutes and 35 seconds to go? Only time will tell from Kylami here at RaceKraft Simulations. Johnny Lee now about to go a lap down from Jonah and Alex. He pulls to the right-hand side as they head into the final corner. Great piece of respectful driving from our main man, John Lee. As now we get to see this battle start to evolve. 2.7 seconds the gap from Edwards to Sita. So Cameron Edwards in the gold Mobil 1 Porsche, all by his lonesome, in 3rd place on the road. He can't catch Anthony Jewell for 2nd. That gap sits at 9 seconds on the road. But behind him, they are coming. They are definitely coming. 2.3 seconds the gap to Callum Lamont, which is actually Jonah Sita further behind there in the 4th spot. So we follow along with Cameron Edwards at the moment, as Jonah is absolutely flying, trying to close this gap. It's 2 seconds now. Within half a lap, he's pulled down like 0.7 of a second. Cameron's last lap was a 1:11.4. Jonah a 1:10.8, 0.6 faster. Alex Newton was faster on the previous lap, a 1:10.5. Alex Zani, meanwhile, out front lapping a casual and cool 1:10.1. Anthony Jewell on a 1:10.2. As they come onto the main straight, it sits at 2 seconds the gap here from Cameron Edwards back to Jonah Sita as we cross into the 3rd stint of the race. Less than 10 minutes to go here at Kylami for GT1 Championship Round 3, brought to you by SRT Trackmasters, the SRT Trackmasters Academy. Last lap alone, a 1:11.04 Cam Edwards. Jonah Sita on a 1:10.3. Alex Newton 1:11.0. Jonah is trying to break away from Newton. We'll check in on their gaps as they're still sitting about 0.8 of a second apart. Jonah just dropping himself off a wheel as he tries to close the gap to Cameron Edwards further up the road. He wants to get that 3 spot. What a night it would be for Jonah. He did about 5 laps in practice, decided, yeah, nah, I don't think I'm going to be fast tonight, and had all but given up on hope. A quick opportunity to change rigs away from the old system, the Fanatec setup, onto a SimMagic M10 and Huistenveld Sprint-equipped RaceKraft VR rig, and he jumps across, qualifies well, with a shocking start, is now trying to drive his way back up to a podium finish with 8.5 minutes to go. Trying to close the gap to Cameron Edwards. V-Race 1 in the all-gold Mobil 1 Porsche further up the road. It is 1.8 seconds the gap. Meanwhile, out front, this is Alexander's way of life right now. Clean and undisturbed. As he puts a lap on one of the McLaren boys, he leads out 5.5 seconds over Anthony Jewell back there in 2nd. Cameron Edwards a little bit further back in 3rd, just a cool 9.5 seconds behind. In the 3rd spot here, 10.1 seconds actually, over 10 seconds now. Jonah Sita trying to close the gap. It's now 1.5 seconds between Edwards and Sita. And then 0.8 of a second back to Alex Newton. That is your top 5. Jordan Diablo back there in P6 here in the Mobil 1 Porsche. He has something like a 7-second lead over Riley Prussian. Big old Fitzy a little bit further behind Prussian here. The first in the Mercedes, running in the 8th spot here. V-Race 4 in P9 from Cade Bell in the 10 spot. Just had himself a little bit of a battle with John, who let him go. John let him go thinking it was actually a lapped car. So John giving away a top 10 result so far. Back to Bungie 69 here. Kenny Pryor having a go in the 13th spot here. Josh Cochran in P14. Callum Lamont moving his way up to the 15th spot. Roadkill in the 16th spot, and Smash and You rounding out your full 17 remaining drivers in this race with 6 minutes and 35 left to go here. The SRT Trackmasters Academy GT1 Championship Round 3 from Kylami here at RaceKraft Simulations. couldn't leave well enough alone, could we? We just wanted to catch in on this battle here, Cameron Edwards and Jonah Sita, but it looks like Jonah's been unable to pick up the pace any further as Cameron has responded. A 1:10.3 lap keeps the gap at 1.6 to 1.8 seconds. It's going to need a mistake to come from Cameron to get Jonah in with a fight to run third here. Following along with Cameron Edwards. This is the only battle we really have on track in a tight spot. Somehow big old Fitzy and V-Race 4 are showing odd gaps the other way around as V-Race 4 just runs off the track there. Now they reset how they were. It was V-Race 4 showing minute 9 off the leaders, but he now goes to a 1 minute 11. This battle, though, it's now 2 seconds with 3 minutes to go. I have my doubts whether young Jonah can catch Cameron for the third spot tonight. Cameron knows how to drive himself a clean and easy race. Out in the third spot, but way out front, Alexani will pick up with him. Let's go on board for a lap as he goes down the main straight. Under brakes into turn 1, he'll bring it down to third gear. Hard on the noise and flick it through the gears. That's 4. Fifth gear here. He'll grab top. Make its way out of the Jusko sweep. Down to fourth gear here through Sunset Bend, maintaining the speed in the resurfaced part of the racetrack. Down to second gear. In the clubhouse bend, nice and easy on the way out as well. Alec keeping it really smooth at the moment. Last lap he clicked off a 1:12 though. He's lost himself a bit of pace. Through the S's was relatively smooth for Alec. On the brakes and down a couple of gears. Down 3 gears, so dipping down to second in that final corner. Grabbing third on the way out. You really don't hold on to second for very long in that final corner here at Luku Bend. Grabbing top gear just before the kink and let it rev its way out. Picking up to 295 kilometers per hour and even a bit more as we jump on the brakes just before that final braking marker. That was a 1:10.1 for Alexani on board. As Cameron Edwards is still holding on to the third spot. And Jonah further behind has lapped himself a 1:11.5 and giving away a bit of gap here. He's coming up to put a lap on Callum Lamont, who's about to go a lap down. Sorry, that's not Callum Lamont, that is Josh Cochran. Just going a lap down towards the end here. 1 minute to go at Kylami for the SRT Trackmasters Academy GT1 Series, round number 3 here at RaceKraft Simulations. .35 seconds left to go. Follow along with Jonah, but he's going to be unable to make up this gap. He's 2.7 seconds off the back of Cameron Edwards, and the gap seems to be expanding a little bit towards the end here. We're going to go on board with Alexani as Alec makes his way. Where is Alec? Coming out of the first set of corners. So Alec has started his final lap of the circuit here. On the run towards Sunset Bend for the final time, it seems, as we're clicking off the final few seconds, and that would be time. Alexani on his final lap of Kylami International from South Africa, the 1961 to 1987 variant here at RaceKraft Simulations for the GT1 Series third round. Zani once again going to pick himself up a win here at RaceKraft Simulations. He's starting to make a habit out of it as he makes a run out of the final corner. And all the challenges from Anthony Jewell couldn't bring him unstuck. Alexani will run to the line to pick himself up another win here at RaceKraft Simulations. Zani wins round 3 of the GT1 series. Anthony Jewell will come home in second. Cameron Edwards will run to the line in third. Jonas Sita will run home for P4. And Alex Newton will drive it on by to pick up a top 5 result here. Jordan Diablo. Jordan making his way around his final lap here to pick up P6. About 10 seconds up the road from the V-Race 4 entry in P7 as they're all crashing. The guys are still racing and these guys are crashing into each other to finish things off. That is a wrap from RaceKraft Simulations as everyone gets out of the rigs and has a bit of a chat at the end of the race here. Thank you so much for joining us for the GT1 Championship round number 3 as we've done some damage and wrapped things up from RaceKraft Simulations. It's been a great night. Thank you all for joining in the fun. If you want more information, go to RaceKraft Simulations on Facebook or go to racecraft.net for all your sim racing needs. Get in touch with John if you want to come join us in our league nights. We'll see you next time.